A spin-off set in the Monster Hunter universe, Monster Hunter Stories 2 caters to both new and experienced riders and hunters alike. You play as a young rider, grandchild to a legendary hero, and begin a quest to hatch a rare and powerful egg that comes under your protection. It's up to you to prove your worth, showing many traits your grandfather possessed and developing your kinship with monsters at a rapid pace. Can you stop any doubt that people may have about your talents? This is a great setup to what is a grand adventure, mixed in with combat that's accessible on the surface but can get deep for those who would like to, which makes for an engaging and chunky RPG that lasts a lot closer to 40 plus hours playing casually than the 25 or so that I thought going in. At first glance, Monster Hunter Stories 2's combat seems simple and easy compared to a certain other monster collecting RPG series. You and your team of up to 6 monsties face up against a wider roster of Monster Hunter monsters in a turn-based fashion where you'll take advantage of the 3 attack types in a rock, paper, scissors style matchup. Of the 3 attack types, speed beats power, power beats technical, and technical completes the cycle by beating speed. As you fight and land attacks, your kinship gauge will fill. You spend this kinship by using your weapons and monster's skills, or if you let it fill up, you're given an option to ride your monster and let loose a devastating kinship attack. Your weapons and monsters also have strengths and weaknesses. For example, the 9 different weapons fall into 3 different weapon types: slash, pierce, and blunt, and there is no one weapon that beats all. You'll be consistently switching to focus different monster body parts, and then there's the element of your weapon and monsters that you'll be wise to take note of as well. While having a different combat style to the mainline Monster Hunter games is sure to be controversial, a lot of the same principles apply here, and I love that feeling of familiarity coupled with the new combat features. There are dual attacks, dual kinship attacks, quick time events to strategically employ, while monsters consistently swapping their attack types mean that there is a lot going on in battle to keep you on your toes. One issue is that the combat does start off fairly easily. A little too easy. I don't think I healed during battle for the first 7 or 10 hours, but I got my swift comeuppance when I stumbled across a monster in a wild that basically one-shot my whole team immediately. Up until that point, I thought that the game was going to be a limp along in easy mode, but that moment made me want to continue playing even more. Knowing that there was an actual challenge waiting for me gave me an incentive to get stronger. So how do you get stronger? In the traditional Monster Hunter way, of course, by slaying monsters. After every battle, you'll be given a rank based on the kinds of special conditions you've completed, like breaking body parts or using particularly flashy moves. The higher the rank, the more materials you'll be rewarded with to pour into crafting weapons and armor. Unlike the mainline series, armor is streamlined into one whole set, with only a few skills to take into consideration rather than the heavy customization of Monster Hunter Rise or World. These limited options can feel a bit lacking and feel like you're just progressing up one linear path without much experimentation. However, it's understandable since there's such a reduced focus on skills in general. Crafting your build isn't the final word in your overall power because you are not the only one that needs to get stronger. Your monsters are your pride and joy and do a lot of the heavy lifting. Over 81 monsters to choose from, there is no shortage of variety once you get past the stodgy early game, but you'll quickly find your favorites. You get monsters by entering dens and collecting eggs from their nests, with the best eggs being found within the rare golden dens. Eggs are graded by their smell and weight, assessed by your cat compadre Naviru, with the heavier and better smelling eggs possessing the best genes and stats, all the way up to the most sought after rainbow gene. It's a complex system, and a trip to the stables will be required once you're ready to hatch your eggs to see what stats, skills, and genes your monster has rolled with. Whenever RNG is involved, you get that same loot box-like hit of dopamine when you snag what you actually need, but it does feel like there will be a lot of grinding involved to unlock a monster's true potential. Despite that, the stables are where a lot of players will find a great amount of fun and spend an even greater amount of time customizing their monster parties. Using the right of channeling, you're able to create the monster you want to suit your needs in battle by manipulating its gene chart by selecting a monster you want to inherit the gene and a monster to pull the gene from. This makes the gene system a lot simpler to understand and will reward players who hunt for loads of eggs and dive deeper into the bingo bonus system, where you match genes of the same color and attack type on the grid to strengthen your monster powers even further. The in-game explanations aren't the best, and if it looks confusing to you, don't worry. I was around 20 hours in when I started fiddling around with the right of channeling properly, and if I'm honest, I probably could have gone a little further without using it. If you just want to experience a story, some of the small details can be left to the min-maxes and won't get in the way of your enjoyment. Something that might mar your time in Monster Hunter Stories 2, however, is the less than spectacular Switch performance. On PC, it runs silky smooth as expected, with a certain location, dare I say, even rivaling rivaling that of Monster Hunter World, and if you're someone that needs to play at high frame rates and resolution, PC is the way to go. But games like this are very well suited to the portable console, so much so that I wouldn't blame you for overlooking the performance in favour of the accessibility. The choice of presenting the narrative in-engine is a brave one, and you could argue that this is a more ambitious Monster Hunter game on the Switch than Monster Hunter Rise because of it. Even though the human characters in cutscenes in Stories 2 feel a lot less static than we've seen in the last few Monster Hunter games, the Switch struggles to animate the movement and chugs pretty hard throughout a lot of the game. Also, there are so many more environments here than in Rise that it seems like they just couldn't have the same level of detail. On the Switch, so many of the textures are muddy, and it makes a lot of the areas that are supposed to be unique feel very samey. And the backtracking through them is a massive drag and is easily the worst part of the game, but thank God for fast travel. Outside of the main quests, there's so much to do. If you'd rather relax and do some side content, there is no shortage of it. Bounty boards make a return and NPCs have some more narrative driven quests for you. If you'd like to partner up with a friend to hunt some eggs, that's also a possibility in co-op. Or you can prove who the best rider is in PvP. As you reach the end of the game, nearly all of the systems are expanded upon. Completing the whole story can take you anywhere from 30 hours plus, and the side content at Endgame can take you way up towards the hundreds of hours. Monster Hunter Stories 2 is a win. With so many quality of life changes from its predecessor on 3DS, it's welcoming and accessible, familiar yet new, complex but not confusing, and has plenty of surprises waiting for players, and I can see myself playing this way beyond the review.